spike traps and so on. And then also we have our main critical path puzzles are larger and more ornate, and they have what we call nested puzzles. So when you walk into one of these spaces, you know where you need to go, right? You see like these beautiful glittering gold doors, but how do you get there? So there's multiple puzzles for you to solve along the way, and in between the little puzzles there's combat and traversal, and so it's a whole experience within these big tombs. And then in addition to that, we have the Return to the Challenge tombs, which are the optional ones. But I think the team pushed them a little harder in terms of difficulty this time, because they are the optional ones. They can be a little bit, you know, they can make them even more difficult. So some of these challenge tombs are really challenging. And then in addition to that, there's also even crypts and caves. So there are spaces that don't have puzzles, but they're these ancient spaces that you can discover. So crypts are places where people of note have been buried, and it really contributes to the world building. So you can learn about the world and the people that influenced it in the past by finding a crypt. And then caves often have animals in there and maybe something to discover and find. And so it's this huge ecosystem of discovery in the game.
That's awesome. I mean, it sounds like you really have brought all of the exploration that the sort of fans really wanted to see. The other thing that, you know, I think really drew me to even the original Tomb Raider, when I think about the scale of some of the tombs that I was able to explore. And one of my favorite moments of all time is when you're climbing and you come out into that Eye of the Sphinx, and it draws back and you get to see the whole thing, and you're like, I have to get down there. It's different. I have to go from up to down, and how do I do this? The swan dive doesn't work, unfortunately. Will we, I mean, I'm already seeing here, like, this looks like scale, and is that something of emphasis in a lot of the tombs that we're going to see?
Absolutely. So the tombs are definitely more, they're grand, and the scale has been increased in the tombs, but also in the hub areas. And I think that we often, when you introduce a hub, because they are these huge exploration spaces, so you can take hours to get lost in them if you want to try to find everything. And we always have those beautiful vista drawbacks. So you enter the space and you just look at it, and you know it's this playground for you to explore in. So we celebrate that, certainly.
Well, we have I mean, Laura, of course, has these wonderful physical skills, but she is also an academic genius, and you were telling us that this game is really going to play that up with some of the challenges, too.
Yeah, absolutely. So, I mean, she's got the bronze, but she's also got the brain. She went to school for archaeology, she studied archaeology, and so on. And so one of the things that we're really excited about in the game is celebrating that a bit more. So there's a translation system now. So Laura can find ancient texts in the environment or murals, and by reading them, she can actually improve different languages. So there's a couple of different languages that she can improve. And eventually, if she improves her language skills enough, she can translate these monoliths. You find them in the environment. They're kind of pillars. We'll see them in a little bit. But she'll be able to translate them, and they'll point to items of interest in the environment. So they'll reveal things that you can't find any other way. And so it really encourages people to improve their Greek or their Russian and so on.
Yeah, how authentic is that? Did you guys really have some Greek and some Russian language experts in here? Like,
I do think I remember seeing an email where they were talking to someone about ancient Greek to make sure it was accurate enough. So, I mean,
you were talking about scope.
The team does a lot of research, and I do remember seeing something about that. So I think they try to make it as authentic as they can. So you can see here, this is one of the monoliths that she can find and she can eventually translate. But we again want to celebrate that she is an academic, and that she is especially qualified. Like, the reason that these places haven't been discovered is because someone like Lara Croft hasn't come yet, and she is especially qualified in terms of her physical abilities and her academic abilities to make these discoveries.
Well, and already, based off of what we've seen and what we've been able to see in the past, I mean, the game looks gorgeous. So congratulations on that. It looks absolutely stunning. The other thing that I find really interesting about, you know, not only the reboot, but then now Rise of the Tomb Raider, is that you guys are really getting a chance to sort of retell the story of a beloved character. And I mean, I personally think that you guys have already done a remarkable job. So what's it like for you guys now going into this one, where you've got a great foundation and base, and you know, you kind of get to keep going with the idea of, like, where did this character actually come from?
So that's a huge responsibility. First, like, acknowledging that is an incredible responsibility, taking a character that's been around. Next year it's 20 years.
Yeah, that's
20-year
crazy.
anniversary. And so taking a character that's so beloved by so many fans and putting your own spin on it and starting fresh is a huge responsibility, and something I think the team is really proud of what they were able to achieve with the last game. And so in this game, I feel like we did the really hard bit, right? The starting fresh, and now we have that foundation laid, and we can kind of push that fantasy fulfillment of being the Tomb Raider, of being that special, specially qualified adventurer who's going on these amazing adventures. And so pushing that a little bit further is wonderful, and it's great because you can see Lara. She's got that confidence, and she's starting to grow and definitely believe in herself more.
Right.
And there's just lines, as a fan, as someone who's been a fan of Tomb Raider since I was 12, having Lara deliver some of these lines, you're just like, this is Lara, this is Lara Croft, and this is the Tomb Raider, and it's wonderful.
I gotta say, I mean, my biggest like fanboy moment of last year was the. I don't want to give away the game, but there's a very amazing moment at the end of the game where it like just pays homage to like the first game, and two pistols come out, and you're just like, oh my god, this is it, and then it ends, and you're like, when's the next one? I had a question. I saw the XP thing come up. That's a change, right?
Yeah,
it's
so we have a more advanced system now. So you can still earn experience and then unlock abilities, and that's evolved, but it's similar to the last game, that you can choose different abilities, whether you want to gear towards exploration, so you want to be able to find relics and objects easier, or if you want to improve your combat skills, you can still do that. But one of the things that we've improved this time, which is really great, and it really plays up the survival aspect of our game, which we think is really unique to how we put our own spin on the franchise, is crafting. So now there's 16 resources you can find in the environment. Before you could find like the universal salvage, and now there's 16 resources you can find. Some of them are really rare, and some of them you can only find in certain animals at certain times of day or weather conditions and so on. And you can use these things to improve your weapons or upgrade equipment or so on. And it's pretty neat how you can choose how to use your resources, and you can also craft items on the fly. So really, Lara isn't trained in combat. This is something that she kind of has to learn as she goes, and she's excelling more at like the guerrilla style warfare. And so she has to find things in her environment to kind of give her the edge over often trained mercenaries who are, all full of armor and all this. And so now she can find things and make incendiary weapons or Molotov cocktails and use her resources in combat. So you can choose how you want to do it, how you want to use those resources, whether it's upgrading weapons or using them on the fly in combat. And it's pretty fun.
So do you have to do all these, like, if you want to play through, do you really have the option of playing her just as sort of the sneaky puzzle solver, or do you kind of have to grow into all these different options you provide? Because there's so many now ways to play as Lara Croft in this game.
So we definitely want to give the player as much player choice in combat as possible. There are going to be instances where, from a narrative standpoint, you're going to have to partake in combat. So there are going to be some places where you have to take on these Trinity soldiers who are not the nicest people in the world, you will find out. But we do want to give player choice in combat, and so there are areas that you can do non-lethal combat. You can do a hybrid where you are doing stealth kills from bushes and so on, and then sneaking past some people, and then if you want to, you can go in guns blazing in some areas, but it's a trade-off. So if you go in full force, you're going to use more resources. If you sneak around, maybe it's a little harder to find items hidden in the environment because you have to stick to like the bushes and high ground and so on. So it's a trade-off, and it allows you to play the way that you want.
With the XP system, then, as a avid explorer, I would get more options, right? Because I assume I'm like earning XP for all this other stuff I'm finding along the way.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
If you find things in the environment, and there's side missions you can get from NPCs and so on, like you will definitely. It encourages exploration with the XP.
I gotta say, I love Lara as a character all the time. She got out of the water and she
grabbed
rang the water out of her ponytail. That was too real for me there.
I get so excited about that as a lady. I just love seeing that. And whenever I demo it, I pause right as soon as she gets out of the water to see it. Because I just think that's such a nice touch from the animators. It feels very, natural to her character. And it feels really unique. So
she's a really special character to a lot of people, and I think we were just talking about all the cosplayers we see. So many people who feel so close to Lara, and this is just such a cool rendition. I love seeing her this way.
Yeah, we have a absolutely wonderful community, whether it's our cosplayers or fan artists or official. We have over 100 official fan sites in our program around the world, and really active forums, and they all love Lara, and it's just, their feedback and their energy really keeps us going. So.
As far as like from Tomb Raider to Rise of the Tomb Raider, obviously the emphasis on tombs, but is that where you guys feel the biggest accomplishment and leap is from this game or from the last game to this one?
I think it's a combination of things. So I think it's the return to like those epic, ornate and deadly tombs, but then it's also the player choice in combat was a really big piece of feedback that we have. We have a franchise that runs 20 years, and so there are some fans who have maybe just been a fan of Tomb Raider but aren't necessarily core gamers. They're just Tomb Raider fans, and so combat is something that they're not overly familiar with or they're not as much of a fan on. So giving them those options to play their way, and then also giving core gamers who want like the more aggressive combat experience the option to play that way too. I think that's something that was a big area of improvement. And then also the evolution of the survival systems, the crafting and so on, we think is something that's really great.
Yeah, the crafting sounds like a cool addition. I'm definitely excited to see how that goes. And is this the
so we're
Trinity?
This guy's destroying
this
ancient tomb. What is he doing?
They are not overly respectful about this tomb. Unfortunately, there's sometimes collateral damage when it comes to some of these ornate spaces. I love this. This is a run out from this tomb area, which is now collapsing because Trinity set some explosives. They're looking for an end goal. They have an end game in mind, and they're not overly concerned about what happens between them, I think. So, but I love this. This reminds me of classic Tomb Raider, right? The run out, the frantic run out, where everything is collapsing around you.
And you think you know where you need to go, but then, congratulations, they put you in another spot.
I've played it so many times now that I forget sometimes that it is like watching people, you get that like almost sense of panic when you're playing, run, jump, get it, And it's actually a little bit like anxiety inducing because you don't want Lara to die.
Well, and the action sequences of the last game were fantastic, and I can only imagine we're going to get plenty more in this one. And even the last game, a lot of the visuals that I felt were unique in terms of the flames and some of the things that you guys did. I saw the cobwebs or the spider webs earlier. They're definitely not cobwebs. They're definitely spider webs, and that is such a cool effect. It looks like
there's some bits. I mean, like the team has been working really hard on things like the hair, the things. Oh, I love when Lara walks into the dark spaces and she cracks her glow stick. So like in Syria, the glow stick is blue, which just complements like the warm colors in the environment really well. And in Siberia, it's orange, which just like warms up the environment in this cold environment. And the team has just worked so hard on everything from like hair tech to snow tech to all of the art and effects and animation. And I think it brings the world to life, and you can really get lost in some of these spaces. I sent some feedback to the team a while ago, and it was just like, the bird calls in this particular area are amazing, and I just want to get lost in this environment. It feels so alive, and congratulations, you guys did an amazing job. So
absolutely, I have to agree. All right, I asked this at E3 and I didn't get much of an answer. I'm going to ask one more time, but like any sense of the number of locales that we're going to maybe visit over the course of
so we're talking about that now. So we do have the two different locations. We have Syria, which is it's going to set the stage for why she travels to Siberia. So it's the two main locations. That being said, Siberia is actually a really, really diverse environment. So you're not going to just have, just snow. There's the geothermal valley. There's other places that are very, very different and unique feeling within there. And there is another location in the cutscenes that kind of sets a stage too. Awesome. But so the two main locations for playable.
Great. And we don't have an official release date yet?
No, we do. November 10.
November 10?
November 10. It's coming up so soon.
All right. Well,
Merry
November
Christmas,
10th, we're going to be playing Rise of the Tomb Raider. Thank you so much, Megan. Really appreciate it.
Thank you so much for having us.
And if you're here at